All right, so my friends, welcome to complete set review for Spider-Man. That's what's up. Full set alongside the through the Omenpaths set. So we're going to roll all the cards for constructed and limited, so every single card. And you missed the colors so far: white, blue, black, red, and green. All on the YouTube. Go watch them on the YouTube. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, support the content as always. A lot of work goes into the show. A lot more than usual with this set because of the Omenpaths stuff. So please take a second, support the content. I'm begging you. All right, hit the like button. Love y'all. All right, so we're getting on to Multicolored here, which is by far the largest section. And we're going to go over all the cards. Reminding you that the Bronze Mythic premiere will be on Tuesday, September 23rd at 8 p.m. Little nighttime premiere. We'll do 1 or 2 drafts that night, which is gotta be cool. So hope to see you there. Let's rock and roll. Starting off with, where else did we start, right? With old Peter Parker. And Peter Parker, there's one of each flip mythic in this set. These are characters that transform into a different character. The front side is monocolored, the back side is multicolored. So Peter Parker here is 2 mana for an 0/1. And when he enters, make a 2/1 green spider token with reach. And then you spend a Bant and 1, so 4 total mana to transform him into the Amazing Spider-Man. Surprise! Peter Parker Spider-Man, if you didn't know that. And Amazing Spider-Man has, interestingly, has a cost. Even as a backside. They changed that recently. I don't know how that works. But 4/4 vigilance reach. Each legendary spell you cast is 1 or more colors. Has web-slinging green, white, blue. So you can web-slinging in expensive. Well, you can cast the back? You're blowing my mind here.
Inconceivable!
It's an MDFC and a TDFC. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay. That was not clear to me. I apologize for being unaware of how things work.
Just did a bad thing.
Sure. So you can cast either side. I apologize. It's a Bant card or a Peter Parker card. And again, this backside here is 4/4 for 4. And you can cast legendary spells for Bant web slinging. So returning a tapped creature, which seems pretty powerful. You're just playing, Emrakul for 3 mana or whatever. So, nothing like Peter Parker just pulling a Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn, back into a game of Magic. That's cool. But yeah, really weird card. Feels really commandery. You can't. Oh, it's not colorless. Oh, I'm sorry. They got me on that one. Right. They specifically said not colorless. So I changed what I said. I mean Atali or Valgavoth or Grizzlebrand or Atraxa or whatever else. Some big dumb thing. You knew what I was trying to say, all right? Just because they slipped that one in there, it's 1 or more colors to really make sure you can't do Emrakul. Makes sense. So no Eldrazi nonsense. Sorry. But yeah, this was like Commander card in standard, 4/4 for 4 with no real reasonable abilities. Doesn't seem particularly great. You also need to have a tap creature, have the extra mana, yada, yada, yada. So yeah, I think for the most part, this is just a Commander card. Front side and back side, not really playable constructed. In limited, this card's pretty good in limited because 2 mana for a 2/1 and an 0/1 is fine. And then if you can, splash the activation on it, pretty cool too. And a 4/4 is a decent payoff and so on and so forth. So I think this card is just not really a card for standard. I think it's, kind of a fun limited card, definitely a Commander card. But yeah, a lot of hoops to jump through here or perhaps swing through. But yeah. And of course, on Arena, this is Surus Spider Silk Innovator. Backside Surus Silk Tech Vanguard. Next up is Norman Osborn. 2 mana for a 1/1 unblockable. Whenever it does combat damage to a player, it connives, which is pretty good actually. So it's unblockable, it loots when it hits. You can add counters that get bigger. And you can transform it or cast it for 4 mana as the Green Goblin. So Grixis in 1, 3/3 Flying Menace. Spells you cast from your graveyard cost 2 less to cast. And then has Goblin Formula. Each non-land card in your graveyard is Mayhem. The Mayhem cost is equal to the mana cost. So if you've discarded a card, you can then Mayhem it. This also feels like a Commander card. Just look at all the cool flashback cards I can play and stuff. The front side isn't bad. Sort of looter Ilkor, attack, loot, draw, discard, etc., etc. is kind of cool. But yeah, again feels like a Mostly more of a commander card. Good limited card for sure. Just like, unblockable looter is pretty sweet. But yeah, commander limited. And then a lot of words for not a ton of payoff in standard. But yeah. And then, of course, the arena version is Gobin Gene Splice Savant, who turns into Fleam. Fleam? I want to hear more like Fleam.
You fool!
Fleam. Fleam's pretty cool. I like Fleam. All right, so next up, our black MD or flip card is Eddie Brock. The mana for a 3/3. When it enters a turn, target creature card mana value 1 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, which isn't like bad, but isn't particularly good either. And then you can transform it or just cast it as Venom for 6 mana, Jund, 5/5, Menace, Trample, Haste, which is pretty good. Whenever it attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. And if you do, draw X cards, and put a permanent card, mana value X or less from your hand on the battlefield, or X to sacrifice creature's mana value. Another card where, very similar, there's some power here. The front side isn't bad. The front side is, of course, a little value. Get back a 1-drop or something like that. The backside is having Menace and Trample and Haste is pretty good too, but I think the whole package doesn't really translate to a playable standard card. It's a good limited card. Otherwise, it's just okay. And the arena version is Vigo, Enforcer of Ig's Crossing. And the backside is Vigo, the end of Ig's Crossing. Sure, that's fine. Next up is Gwen Stacy. It's meant for a 2/1 ETB exile top card of your library. You may play that card for as long as you control this creature, which is not a bad type line, honestly. It's kind of reasonable. And then for Jeskai and 2, transform or cast Ghost Spider. 4/4 Flying Vigilance Haste, which is pretty good for 5 mana, actually. If you play a land from exile or cast a spell from exile, put a counter on Ghost Spider. Remove 2 counters from Ghost Spider, exile top card of your library you can play this turn, which will obviously self-perpetuate into the counters. Honestly, that's not bad. The fact that this is a split card of a 5 mana, usual 4/4 haste dragon and a 2-drop that's pretty effective is kind of cool. This card's fine. I think this is the best one we've seen so far. Where both sides are pretty playable in standard, so could see play in standard. In limited, it's a great card. Both sides are great. Yeah. On Arena, we'll see Nia, Skysail Storyteller, transforming into Nia, Fabled Sky Climber, flying a flying spider thing, I guess. Next is Miles Morales, which is our green entry, which is 2 mana for a 1/2. When Miles enters, put a +1/+1 counter on each of the 2 target creatures, which is an okay rate. You're getting 3 power and 4 toughness for 2 mana. But it does require you to have 2 other creatures in play. And then for Naya and 3, we can transform or cast Ultimate Spider-Man, which is a 4/3 first strike haste and has Camouflage 2. Put a counter on this enemy, gains hexproof and becomes colorless on a turn. Whenever you attack, you double the number of each kind of counter on each spider and legendary creature you control. I'm sorry, you put a counter on himself. So he's a 2/3. So front side rate is pretty good. The backside rate is kind of rough, where the protection costs 2 on top of 6, which is pretty hard to effectively use. So again, feels mostly commandery or limited-y. The front side is, I guess if there is some sort of counter deck in standard, it's kind of a okay front side. But yeah, overall commander limited, so. And on Arena, we see Kren, Undercity Dreamer, flipping over into Kren of the Spider Brood. So again, commandery, a little slow, yada, yada, yada. So those are the 5 mythic flip cards in the set that are all, monocolored cards turning into multicolored cards. Rest of the section is just the regular multicolored cards, where we see Ariana, Heart of the Spider, and our best in show. There's actually a lot of reasonable cards in this section. But I think Ariana is pretty sweet, being that she is very, very good just in general. The mana for a 3/3. When you attack, you put a counter on the attacking creature. And whenever a modified Arana, whatever. Leave me alone, all right? I'm freaking dyslexic.
Saying it wrong.
It's
Leviosa.
So, modified creature is a creature with a counter on it, or an equipment, or an aura. So, it just pumps the creature no matter what, right? Just play this on 3, pump your 2-drop, awesome. And this can draw a lot of cards as the game goes on, which is sweet. Plays into itself, which is very, very nice. It can put a counter on itself, which is great too. So, this card's got a gas, you know? Either is possibly like a Boros Spider deck, given some of the cards you've already seen in white and red. This card's just super playable in a regular, you know, whatever Boros aggro deck. Maybe not good enough, but I think this card's pretty nice, honestly. It's also a human performance to care about that, which is cool. And then limited, this card's awesome. Gloria, the Great Armorer. A little spider action too. So it doesn't have haste, but it affects the board immediately when you cast it, and has upside later, which is good too. So like this card a lot. Best in show. I think there's a lot of like really close cards in the multi-card section that all seem about a similar power level. So could go a lot of different ways, but that's where I chose to go. Bioorganic Carpus. 4 mana for an equipment. It does auto-equip. Gives +2/+2. And has whenever this creature does combat damage to a player, draw a card for each modified creature you control. Modified, again, being creatures with equipment, auras, or counters on them. So by itself, this will draw at least 1 card, because it is modified itself. That being said, I don't think that's particularly great. 4 mana to equip a thing and then having it blown up by a kill spell is not very exciting constructed. Feels like more of a really powerful limited card and not too much more. It's not that exciting, but... And then it's Angler's Shield on Arena. You know, there is some equipments of having it in standard, but it's typically not good enough, so... Carnage Crimson Chaos is next. 4 mana for a 4/3 trample. When it enters, return target creature card mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, and it gains must act each turn. And when it deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice it. This card's kind of gas. The thing you're bringing back won't be awesome because it has to attack, and when it does hit, it just dies. But if there's any good ETBs here, that's like pretty sick. And the fact that it has Mayhem for only 2 mana means that it's like a pretty sick thing to like Mayhem too. So this card's quite nice. If there's some sort of like Rakdos Mayhem deck, this card seems right up its alley. Certainly playable and constructed under the right circumstances, though it does ask a lot of you. And then limited, this card is Desecrix, Gift of Servitude, where it's also going to be really, really good. 2 mana for a 4/3 trample on the Mayhem cost is already good enough itself, which is great. And again, a reminder, Mayhem is an ability where you may play it from the graveyard if you've discarded it this turn, following all normal timing restrictions, not like Madness. Cheering Crowd.
It's a trap!
I know some talk of this card, but I think this card's pretty damn risky. 2 mana for a 2/2, hybrid red and green. This is a human citizen. Beginning of each player's first main phase, that player may put a counter on this creature. And if they do, they add a colorless. So, you can play this. Your opponent gets first crack at it. They get to put a counter on your creature, but get an extra mana. Giving your opponent 4 mana on turn 3, not always the best idea. So, that's pretty scary. Certainly a fun commander card, like, you know, oh, I'll give you some mana, blah, 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 you know. But as far as constructed goes, it's pretty risky. And then as the game scales on, you know, I'm very concerned with that first counter and that what happens on the first turn you play it. As the game goes on, things die, yada, yada, yada. As the game goes on, so you get, if they do it for 1 mana, then you get 2 mana on your next turn. But they could just, like, take it and then kill you, you know, or kill it. Take the mana, kill it, and then you're in a really bad spot. So, I think this card is pretty sketchy. Maybe a fun commander card, but I would not want to put this card in my deck in constructed or limited, unless I had a damn good reason to do so. Hence why it's the trap card for Multicolor, Cheering Crowd. On Arena, it is also Cheering Crowd. Next up is Cosmic Spider-Man, aka the card I really want to open in Bronze to Mythic. All right, so we get your Wooburg card. It's the commander card to allow you to play your spiders. These sets are pretty predictable these days. 5/5, flying, first strike, trample, lifelink, haste. It's almost unbeatable in combat. Beating combat your turn, other spiders get flying, first strike, trample, lifelink, and haste. I mean, there you go. You know, pretty good top end. This is your Joda of the set, your 5-color payoff. Cavern of Souls is in standard, as is another choose a type land, I believe. So playing 5-color spiders in standard could be a thing. Would not be surprised if it ends up being one of my 10 new brews. And then a nice pipe dream to have in limited, where there's some fixing, not a ton, but some. But if your base green seems reasonably castable, and if you do cast it, oh boy, that's a lot. So pretty cool card on Arena. It is Scions of the Spider. But yeah, funnest aspirational card in both constructed and limited. That will not be insane in constructed or limited. And then of course a big commander card for all your spider deck needs. Dagok, Master Planner. We got 7 mana for a 4/8 mythic human scientist villain. Other villains have +2/+2. Your max hand size is 8. Get it? 8. Get it? And beginning of your end step, if you have fewer than 8 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference. That's a really powerful effect. All right, so this is the Jin-Gitaxias effect, where basically you just reanimate this, empty-handed, draw up to 8 cards. That's a lot of cards to draw. That being said, Jin-Gitaxias affects your opponent's hand, so it's like a mind twist also. This doesn't do that. Therefore, I think it's, worse than Jin-Gitaxias in older formats. But it's a pretty powerful card. It's like kind of thing where like if you get it in play, draw a bunch of cards, kind of like Atraxa style. That being said, if you do the thing and they kill it before your end step, it's pretty damn bad. And 7 mana is a lot to actually cast it. So for the most part, this feels like a limited top end bomb and not too much more. In limited is Niche, Pinnacle, Pariah. And yeah, pretty insane bomb in limited, but otherwise I don't think it really does too much. Gallant Citizen. We got some hybrid cards in this set to try and smooth out limited, which is going to be a pretty weird experience being in such a small set and only supporting allied colors. But we have Elvish Visionary here. Green, white hybrid for a 1/1 EDB draw card. This will play very well with your web-slinging cards if you can get it safely tapped. That is not an easy thing to do if it's only a 1/1. So you need to find other ways to tap it, which there are in the set, but a little more of a build around than it might seem. But, Visionary is a pretty good card. And it is also a Gallant Citizen on Arena. So, fine card. Green Goblin Revenant. This is your signpost uncommon for Rakdos, which is all about mayhem. 5 mana for a 3/3 flying death touch. When it attacks, discard a card. Then draw a card for each card you discarded this turn. Great mayhem enabler. It's a little clunky, but that's buoyed somewhat by the fact that it has death touch, so that it's still a good blocker the turn you cast it, which is somewhat important. So, really cool card for the mayhem deck. This is by far the deck I'm most excited to draft. Yeah, there you go. And then New and Sumi, Career Criminals, is your arena version of the card, which you'll see a lot on Bronze Mythic probably. Jackal, Genius Geneticist, a Spider-Man villain I am not familiar with at all, but our sleeper card. This card's kind of gas. This is a 2 mana for a 1/1 trample. It says whenever you cast a creature spell with mana value equal to Jackal's power, copy that spell, except it isn't legendary, and put a counter on Jackal. So, that's a lot of words. That's a very, very weird ability. But basically, it scales up, or play a creature, it costs 1, you get 2 copies of it, and it goes to 2. Play a 2-drop, you get 2 copies of it, it goes to 3. The idea of playing this on turn 3 alongside a 1-drop and getting 2 of them, and have a 2/2 also, is pretty sweet, honestly. Just in like a blue-green creature deck. Maybe you're playing like blue-green Stompy or something like that. You play a 2-drop, you get 2 of them. It's pretty powerful card advantage and mana advantage if you get it to work. It is not easy to get work, but it's cheap enough where it's not asking much of you. And if you just play this on turn 3 with a 1-drop, you're basically already paid off. You got a 2/2 trample for 2 that drew you a card and played it, which is pretty nice. Yeah, and then you could also, if you can ramp out with like Gene Pollinator or Llanowar, possibly do this on turn 2, which is really cool as well. So this card's nice. I think this card's got some serious potential. Big sleeper, really cool card. On Arena, it is Dunruth, Reviver of the Hive. I think the card's really, really cool. Llanowar, Small Patch Recruit. A lot of good options. We already have some green, blue aggro decks in Standard already. And you can kind of go up the curve and do more stuff too, which is sweet. So I'm in. That's my sleeper card. Looks fun and limited also. If you have 1-drops, that's the hard part, where finding playable 1-drops limited is not always easy to do. Craven, Proud Predator. 3 mana for a star 3 vigilance. Power equal to the greatest mana value of my permanents you control. This is the red-green signpost uncommon, which cares about mana value of your creatures. It's a 3/4 by itself, which is already very good and limited. And then you can hopefully be bigger than that. It is Dreadfang, loathed by fans on Arena. Perhaps a bit of a jab on the Craven movie not being too good. It's pretty funny. But yeah, great limited card. Not playable constructed, but great signpost for the red green deck. Just very, very big. And yeah, good stuff. Our rare Craven is also quite good. 3 mana for a 4/3 trample. Whenever creature an opponent controls with the greatest power among creatures they player controls dies, draw a card, put a counter on this. So you just play this, Doomblade the creature, draw a card, now it's a 5/4. That's pretty awesome. Reminds me a lot of Glissa, where it feels like a card that like you play it and they kill it, it kind of stinks. But if you play it and untap with it, you're gonna go ham. Not as good as Glissa was, but still a pretty good card. It is hamstrung by the fact that they have multiple creatures of the same power. You don't draw a card, but sure. I mean, that's a possibility. But pretty good card. Unbelievable limited card. It's just like on super good rate. Constructed. I mean, Llanowar Elves is in the format, but, you know, maybe not. Glissa is gone now, so I could see this being like a 1 or 2 of Golgari mid-range, but we'll see. And then Bracco Heartless Hunter is the Arena version. Mary Jane Watson. 2 mana for a 2/2. And hybrid is playable in white or green. Whenever Spider ETBs draw a card, this ability triggers once a turn. Not sure how Mary Jane, just like, you know, with no weapons or anything, is a 2/2, but hey, sure, whatever. This card does seem quite good. If you are playing spiders in your deck, this is a pretty awesome way to draw cards off those. This not being a spider itself is kind of rough, because, you know, you want to have synergy amongst all of your cards and trigger off each other. This doesn't do that. But if there is a spider deck, this does seem pretty sweet. And then in Arena, this is Demera, Soul of a Spider, which again feels much more flavorful and cool for me. And of course, this plays really well at web-slinging, where you can constantly, you know, sling out your spiders in and out, draw more cards. Pretty cool stuff. Mr. Negative. It's funny how all I know about these Spider-Man villains is there's a Marvel Snap, but I probably can't say that because I'll get sued by Wizards, so never mind. Sorry. My bad. Love Marvel Snap. But 7 mana for a 5/5 mythic with Vigilance Lifelink. When it enters, you exchange life total to target opponent. And if you lost life this way, you draw that many cards. This is a serious commander card. Definitely a weird one. Hard to envision what you want to do with this card in a serious constructed format, because it's too big to really cast and reanimate. It doesn't seem very good either. But yeah, it's a human for Winona, which is cute, I guess. But yeah, for the most part, this is a big idiot that does some pretty weird stuff. Very unique effect, you know. But yeah, cool commander card. And limited it seems just fine, you know. A little bit of upside maybe, and then 5/5 Vigilance Lifelink for 7, which is not great. But yeah, weird card. Kind of cool, I guess. And then on Arena is Winthar Cocoon Keeper, which has got some moths going on. Mob Lookout. This is your hybrid common for blue-black. Again, the hybrid common is going to help out the set for limited. And this card's pretty nice. This is just a 0/3 for 2. EDB, it can make a creature connive. It can target itself, of course. This helps play into the mechanics of both blue-black, wanting to put cards in the graveyard, and connive, as well as Rakdos, wanting to mayhem things out. So it seems like a great nuts and bolts limited card. And that's really it. Honestly, it's a good limited card, nothing too more. And it's also Mob Lookout on Arena. And kind of be good in black decks, blue decks. I like the hybrid cards here as a way to kind of like glue limited together. It's going to be rough otherwise, I think. Morbius, the Living Vampire. Another good movie, right? Maybe. It's Morbin time. I don't know. I didn't see that one. 4 mana for a 3/1 flying Vigilance Lifelink. Not a bad stat line. More importantly, though, this has a really good graveyard ability. This is the signpost uncommon for Dimir, which is all about putting cards in the graveyard with connive. And this has blue-black, exile from your graveyard. Look at the top 3 cards in your library. 1 goes to your hand, rest go to the bottom. That's a really powerful effect. All right, so this card looks like a limited card. But if you're playing some deck that's playing blue-black and is able to mill a bunch of cards, this is a 2 mana draw card from the graveyard, which is pretty good, honestly. So this is the kind of card that has like an outside shot and constructed because the effect is just so unique. But in limited, this card's pretty nice as well. It's good to connive. It's good to just cast. It's a good draft card. where in Arena you'll see it as Tyrell and Tropic Hunger. Sure. Yeah, sure. Cool. Does wear counter as well, too. Also an uncommon in Dimir, I think there's only one signpost for each color pair, I could be wrong, is Prowler, Clawed Thief. 2 mana for a 2/3 menace. Whenever another villain you control enters, this connives, which is pretty powerful. Again, conniving, all about you know, putting cards in the graveyard, making things bigger, and really cool stuff. So good limited card again. Nothing really constructed, but good card. And in Arena, it's Carlo, Suave Schemer. Pumpkin Bombardment. Very fitting this card wins the Bombin Common award, right? Bombs get it. This card's gas. Your hybrid card for Rakdos is 1 mana sorcery. Additional cost to play this, pay 2 or discard a card. Deals 3 to a creature. And this, of course, is a phenomenal enabler for your Mayhem cards. It's also not embarrassing to cast for 3 if you have to kill a creature. But great enabler. Like seeing this card a lot. Makes cards super sweet. It's good removal spell, good synergy. Gonna be a little worse in non-Rakdos decks. But I think this card's kind of gas. So pretty cool Rakdos decks if you're doing the Mayhem thing. On Arena, it is Knife Trick. Knife Trick. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Bombin Common. Yeah, I guess there are 2 sideboards uncommons for each color pair, my bad. So the other sideboards uncommon for Gruul is Rhino Barreling Brute. This is a 7 mana, 6/7 Vigilance, Trample, Haste. Good God.
Good Lord.
Whew.
Gigantism.
That's a monster. Whenever it attacks, if you cast a spell mana value 4 or greater of his turn, draw a card. So it immediately draws a card too. This is a heater, folks. This is a banger limited card. Absolutely stunning top end. Really, really good. And on Arena, it's Zakao, Predation's Shadow. So still really good. Same card, same thing. But yeah, really great limited card. Great top end card. Can't wait to cast this card limited. Seems awesome. Then we see Rhino's Rampage. This is the green-red's hybrid card. So this is a +1/+0 in a fight. And if it deals a bunch of excess damage, you kill an artifact. Fights aren't so good in limited these days. We've been getting bite spells everywhere, basically. And fights are only really good on larger creatures, making this card pretty iffy. I think this card's pretty unexciting. If you have to kill an artifact, cool. That's not really what, limit is all about. So, and constructed, I guess, if you're playing a deck full of huge creatures against a small deck with artifacts, I guess, but it seems pretty fringe. And the fun part here is that on Arena, it's Rhino's Rampage, non-proper noun.
Waka waka.
There's just a couple rhinos, There's just a couple rhinos. It's plural, just rhinos. I guess then it would be the apostrophe would be after the S. So just the rampage of a rhino. Whatever, man. I'm trying, folks. I'm trying my best here. All right, so still the same name. Yeah. Again, it has to deal excess damage. So killing a cauldron and stuff like that. Fight spells are just not playable in standard like this. So, yeah, not a fan. Next up is Scarlet Spider, Ben Riley. No, nothing but this character. 2 mana for a 4/3. Great stat line for limited. Has web slinging and trample. And has, if it was cast using web slinging, enters with the X counters on him, where X is the mana value of return creature. If there's a web slinging card that makes any waves, it's this card. If you're slinging this thing as a 4/3 for 2, that's possibly even bigger because of this extra effect. This card hits. So, pretty nice little beater here. Good with haste creatures. And good with the Riot card as well. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty awesome beater. And limited is Borois, the Spider Rider. But same idea. Cool with warping stuff. Yeah, cool with Llanowar Elves. Cool with Mana Dorks. It's just big, too. There's something to be said for things just being big. And this card does that quite well. And all the station things from the last set also help to enable this tapped stuffs, too. It's kind of cool. So, it's a big beater. Scarlet Spider, Kane. Rakdos, 2 mana for a 2/1 Menace. When it enters, you may discard a card. If you do put a counter on this, it also has Mayhem. This is your big-time signpost uncommon for the Rakdos deck, where it is both a payoff and enabler, where you can play this and banish your things off of it, or connive things or whatever, and it also has the cheapest possible mayhem cost besides being 0. It's super easy to put in play, which is great. So this card's dope. Great limited card. It's cheap enough where if there is some sort of weird mayhem deck in constructed, this card could do the thing. Probably not, but great limited card. Great signpost for Rakdos. Looks really cool. And on Arena is Kivni Orb Weaver. Cool. Next up is Shriek Troublemaker. 3 mana for a 2/3 hybrid. Beginning first main phase, you may discard a card, and when you do, target creature can't block this turn, and has whenever this creature an opponent control dies, they take 1. This is another good one. Any discard enabler that doesn't require any mana is pretty sweet for enabling the mayhem costs, because if you have to pay to discard and then pay a mayhem cost, you're not really getting a discount. Whereas a card like this helps you get that discount for full value. So this seems like a fantastic card for the Rakdos deck. Again, that is the deck I'm most excited to draft. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, cool stuff. On Arena, it is Crash Reckless End Rider. But real nice. Boxy with the raid, what's up? Thanks, Boxy, appreciate it. Set review time, Spider-Man. Do. Legally distinct Spider-Man. Next up is Silk Web Weaver. 3 mana for a 3/5 legendary with web-slinging. Whenever you cast a creature spell, make a hit citizen token, and it pumps the team. It's funny, this feels like a really good signpost uncommon. It's a rare. It's really good and limited. Like, really good. But it plays into the limited archetype of green-white, web-slinging, bouncing things, yada, yada, yada. I mean, bouncing a spell, casting to get a citizen is great. Pretty understated. Pumps the team pretty well, too. This is kind of a hitter. This is the kind of card you're going to lose to in limited a lot. Just huge, good abilities, good stats, makes bodies, pumps the team, does basically everything. And then in constructed, probably not. You know, web slinging or casting it both seem a little rough, but an absolute banger of a limited card. Or you'll be losing to Alini, Brood Recruiter. So hopefully we'll open that one in Bronze Mythic. Skyward Spider, this is your common hybrid blue-white card. Blue-white hybrids for a 2/2. It's got Ward 2. And if you manage to modify it, it has Flying. Pretty good card for the deck, honestly. Just pop a counter on here, have a nice hard-to-kill flyer. Specifically better in blue-white than any other color pair. You can play it in a non-white or non-blue deck, but pretty hard to cast at that point. So just good blue 2-drop for your draft decks. You know. Oh, shit. Oh, I screwed up. Oh, no. No. I was doing so good. Crap. Yeah, I can't. Sorry, folks. I just have to skip it. So, shh. There you go. Here's the arena version. It's Wonder Wave Airless. It's honestly a freaking miracle. It's my first mistake. So, but yeah, great limited card. Plays really well with all the counter stuff. Good draft card. Next up is SPDR, piloted by Penny. This is the signpost uncommon for the other signpost uncommon for Azorius in limited, where it's all about modified, putting counters and things on things. This is a 4/4 vigilance for 5. And when it enters, you put a counter on a creature. It can put a counter on itself, meaning it's a 5/5 for 5, which is great. It's a great limited stat line. Whenever a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. This is a banger. This is like a heater of a first pick card for your draft decks. The kind of card that puts you into Azorius, does all the things you want to do at a great rate. This is a fantastic limited card. Really, really good. Good stuff. And then on Arena, it is Kamanosu the Watchful. Powerful. Really, really good signpost uncommon for limited. Really speaks to the what the blue-white deck wants to be doing. Next up is Spider Manifestation. And this card is also a candidate for Bombin Common in limited. Really, really good card. This is the red-green hybrid card. 2 mana for a 2/2 mana dork with reach, and also untaps when you play a creature mana value 4 or greater. That's awesome, right? It's turn 3, play a 4-drop, untap this, attack for 2. That's pretty good. So really, really good card. Important to note that this is also a red mana dork in a mono red deck, which we're getting more and more of these days, which is kind of a little jarring to me, but yeah, really, really great common. Constructed, probably not. But, you know, I could imagine some sort of like weird scenario where there's some weird like 4-mana card that could like untap something else, or I don't know, like combo. Probably not. But yeah, great 2-drop, great limited card. Probably not constructed. And then on Arena, it is Leyline Weaver, which looks pretty cool, actually. Spider Girl's next. 2 mana for a 2/2. And Spider Girl's got flying on your turn. Whenever it leaves the battlefield, make a citizen token. This is your signpost uncommon for green-white web-slinging, where you attack with this, get it for 2, sling it, make a token. Really, really cool. Great limited card if you're doing that. And if you're not, just 2/2 fly over 2 is fine. But yeah, really, really cool stuff. Apparently, this is the child of Peter Parker and Mary Jane on Earth 982. Had no idea. But yeah, great signpost uncommon for green-white draft decks. And Johnny and Hoppy, Roof Skippers on Arena. Spider-Man 2099. Interesting design. Is it for a 2/3? 2 mana double strike vigilance. If you stop reading there, it sounds great, right? But has from the future, you can't cast Spider-Man 2099 during your first, second, or third turns of the game. Pretty fun, honestly. Pretty fun design here. And then if your end step, if you played a land or cast a spell this turn from anywhere other than your hand, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. So that can play with, you know, exile effects, graveyard, yada, yada, yada. This card's kind of cute. I don't really know exactly what standard deck wants this card. You know, like it's fine on like base rate, I guess, but 2-drop you can't cast on turn 2 is kind of a hard sell. It's great and limited. It's just a great body with the irrelevant ability, which is awesome. And I'm sure in Commander you can like, you know, really work around this thing and do some cool stuff with it. But yeah, constructed for standard, I don't really think so. And then on Arena, it is Uharis the Storm Spinner. Pretty cool art there. Spider-Man India. Another card I didn't know existed, or Spider-Man I didn't know existed. This is 5 mana for a 4/4. This is your other signpost uncommon for... How many signpost uncommons are there? What am I, like... Crazy? Man, crazy. I don't know. But 4/4 web slinging. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a counter on a creature you control, and it gains flying. Yeah, sure. I mean, like, good limited card, decent stat line. You get it in play on sarcastic creatures, counters start going everywhere, and then obviously with web slinging, you can keep doing it over and over again. You can web sling the same slinger and just keep like going back and forth, which is kind of cool. But yeah, fine limited card, nothing more than that. On Arena, it is Alessos and Pros Acrobats. That's nice. The spiders and humans being friends. That's cute. Spider-Woman, Stunning Savior, is a rare Azorius hybrid 2-drop. 2/2 flyer, and artifacts and creatures your opponents control enter tapped. This is a nice one, folks. This is a nice card. I think that there are some pretty cool spider synergy cards. The question is, are there enough of them to make a deck? This card helps a lot. Just a good solid 2-drop. Pretty good ability. Your opponent's creature coming in taps, so they can't block, is pretty cool. And it's a spider. It's easy to cast. It's a hero. It's a human. Yeah, just a solid card. Great and limited. Just good rate. On Arena is Makdi and Itla Sky Snares. Great and limited. Possible player constructed. Looks pretty nice. Next up is the Spot Living Portal. Sure. 5 mana for a 4/4. When it enters, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent, up to 1 target non-land permanent card from your graveyard. And when it dies, put him on the bottom of its owner's library. And if you do, return the exiled cards to their owner's hands. So a strict value card here. You exile their thing, exile a card from your graveyard. And if they kill it, you get your card back. They get their thing back also, a little card advantage. That being said, it's a pretty unexciting card for like a legendary, fancy named villain character. Yeah, I don't know. It's like fine, I guess. Cool limited card. You can like blink it and stuff too, I suppose. I guess it's a death trigger, not a blink trigger. But yeah, I don't know, whatever. And limited, it's Kuonis Horizon Splicer. Feels like a good card in limited, nothing really else. Sun Spider, Nimble Webber. Man, there are so many freaking Spider-Mans. 4 mana for a 3/2 as flying on your turn. And when it enters, search for an or equipment card. Great card for limited. Helps you find your what's it called? Oh my god, dude. Modified. How I think you get your modified things going. Yeah, okay rate. I want a card to get with this, obviously, but in limited, it's Serena Bargain Spinner, so fine limited card. A lot of support for these archetypes in limited, at least, which is kind of cool. Although weird, there's only 5 of them. Superior Spider-Man, 4 mana for a 4/4 Mind Swap. If you have Superior Spider-Man, you may have Superior Spider-Man enter as a copy of any creature card in a graveyard, except his name is Superior Spider-Man, and he's a 4/4 Spider-Human hero. And this shows other types when you do exile that card. So kind of like the backside of Invasion of Amonkhet, where you can like get a 4/4 Atraxa or whatever else can be. That's kind of cool, you know? Pretty reasonable rate. Like 4/4, you know, discard Valgavoth or something like that, and then put this thing and get it. So card seems cool. Pretty good Zombify variant. That being said, is there a deck in standard that wants this card? Best deck in standard right now currently main decks 4 graveyard hate cards, so we'll see. But this card's pretty powerful. I think this card does a pretty powerful thing, does a pretty unique thing, which is sweet, and looks pretty good and constructed. In limited, also seems pretty great. Cavero Mind Bitten, you know, it's great limited card, just a lot of upside, a lot of value, which is cool. Symbiote Spider-Man, 3 mana for a 2/4. Whenever this creature does combat damage to a player, look at that many cards from the top of your library, 1 in your hand, rest in the graveyard, which is really good. This is 2/4 better than Ophidian. As Find New Host, 3 mana, exile this card from your graveyard to put a counter on a creature and give it the abilities. This card's really good. This card's like really good. Maybe not good enough for constructed because the bar is pretty high. But this card's like a hitter. You know, like Ophidian with graveyard synergy and graveyard upside. Card's sweet. Really cool card. Great limited card. Maybe not good enough for constructed, but it's close. And then Arena, it is Civics the Augmenter. Ultimate Green Goblin. We get a goblin here, folks. We did it. 2 mana for a Rakdos Hybrid for a 5/4. Then if your upkeep, discard a card to make a treasure token. It also has Mayhem. Really good Mayhem enabler. You know, kind of similar to that 6/6 dinosaur, where you discard every turn. But you get a treasure, and you also get the Mayhem effects too. And if you're empty-handed, no discards. So 5/4 for 3 is pretty cool. Mayhem enabler is pretty cool. Constructed-wise, it's got a lot of flexibility in that it is a black card or a red card. But I feel like it's like probably not quite there. Great and limited though if you're doing the Mayhem thing. Again, you want to be doing the Mayhem thing, but it's kind of pretty big, you know? Yeah, Rotting Regisaur are gonna sue somebody, but... And then on Arena, it is Ruzik, booed but victorious. Somebody skipped leg day. Vulture, Scheming Scavenger. 4/6 flyer for 6. Whenever it attacks, other villains gain flying then a turn. That's a good limited card. You know, good top-end finisher. Most importantly, it blocks pretty well, which is sweet. So it's you can play it, block with it for a turn, and then have a nice flying attacker. Good limited top-end card to win the game with. In Rishi, Getaway Accomplice. Cool. Web Warriors, green-white hybrid, 4/3. When it enters, put a counter on each other creature you control. Great limited card, right? Just like 5/4 pump the squad with counters, good modified stuff. Probably more playable in blue-white than it is in white-green, but a great card overall, which is pretty cool. And Diligent Webkeepers on Arena, just a good limited card. Pretty simple, nothing crazy, just a good draft card. Wraith, Vicious Vigilante, another signpost uncommon for Azorius. This is a blue-white, 3 mana 1/1 double strike. It's unblockable, so clearly the goal is to put some counters on this thing if you can and go to town. So risky thing here is, of course, if you're on the draw, this thing can't block at all, but it's a pretty good way to win the game, and will get better the more synergy your deck has. And Arena, it's Margaret. I'm on the case. So to recap your multicolored section, Arana, Heart of a Spider is your best in show. Your sleeper card is Jackal, Genius Geneticist. Your trap card is Cheering Crowd. And your Bombin Common is Pumpkin Bombardment. We got 2 sections left, folks. We got colorless and lands, and we got a bonus sheet. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Support the content. I love you all. All right, let's finish strong.